Um, all right, we can roll forward, my man. Let's dive in a little bit to the current reality, figure out how to get you up to running and start closing some more deals. So tell us a little bit about the company you work for, what you guys sell, and then we can go into your plans.
Sure. So I work for a digital marketing agency called Upgrow. Ding. Um, that's the jacket. But so we sell obviously digital marketing services. The thing I'm going to be trying to sell is uh, paid advertising, specifically pay-per-click advertising. So Google Ads, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, advertising for that. And we go after our main prospects are slightly not small businesses, but not like super large corporations either. It's mostly like Silicon Valley, like VC funded companies that are trying to like grow their business. So that's kind of like who our target is and like what we're trying to sell, which is Google Ads or Facebook or whatever, LinkedIn, Twitter. Um, Historically, a lot of our current clients have come through referrals of other clients that we've had, but we have had success like doing like cold outreach before, which is a pretty interesting to me because it's like a very big commitment to sign a contract with an agency with someone you've never met before. So that kind of brings me into what my plan is to try and get clients. So instead of doing cold outreach, and Nick, you're kind of the reason I thought about this because I remember you talking a lot about your first job and how you would do like research on a company on LinkedIn and then you'd call them and like talk about something that you had in common or like something interesting to them. I don't know. So that's kind of what inspired me to do this strategy, but it is to find companies who are currently or have in the past advertised with an agency or a freelance agency and basically try to find their ads running on Google or wherever they're advertising and find something that can be improved or an error or something. So like example, there's a very common match type on Google. So if you were to type in like the word Slack and if you're bidding on that keyword with a broad match, you could also, your ad could show up for how do I know when my coworker is slacking off? And there are a lot of irrelevant keywords that like companies will show their ads for that they don't actually want to be on there for. So my idea is to like try to find something like that, get in contact with the owner of the ad, so their marketing person, and then giving them tips or just like pointers on, oh, hey, you could really improve your ads this way. By the way, you should hire us as an agency. That's kind of the strategy. I haven't like thought much about like copy or what I'll do, but I know there's pretty easy ways to get emails of like, I don't know if it's called like hunter.io, but like once I find a company, I don't think it'll be hard to get in contact with the right person. Just shoot them an email and explain how their ads can be improved, and then follow up with like, hey, we can audit your Google account. Agencies like to like run audits. Like you give them access to your Google account and they'll like go through the whole thing and tell you what can be improved. And that's kind of like what I want to pitch to people.
Okay, so let's recap that real quick. Basically, you guys are an advertising agency. You're selling PPC advertising, Google Ads, LinkedIn, Twitter, etc. You go after Silicon Valley VC funded companies. And a lot of the clients have come from word of mouth in the past, but you're trying to ramp up cold outbound. And so you want to basically do research on these companies ahead of time and then figure out issues with the current ad campaigns that they're running, point those out, give expertise and educate your customers on how they can improve. And that's like your first cold touch point, is providing them that value, right?
Yeah, that's all correct.
Okay.
What do you think of that?
I think that's a clever thing. I would like try that. Have you tried that yet? Like, what have the results been, or no?
No.
So this is it's a really good approach because it's an approach that I haven't done myself, but I'm familiar with, right? You need to be careful though with it, because you need to not, like, when you send that first like critique, right? They don't know you. So they don't have any respect for you or anything like that. They don't trust your opinion or respect your opinion. So when you're coming at them cold, which you have to understand, this is cold outreach still. You're not sidestepping cold outreach. Like, you're doing more than what a typical cold outreacher does, but this is still cold. So you have to be very careful to not come at them like condescendingly. Or you don't even have to be not condescending for them to take it like that, or take it as like combative, or like, who the F are you, right? The F are you to tell me what's wrong with my advertising or whatever. Like, you don't know this shit that's working. You don't know how this ad is working for me or anything like that, right? So you just have to be real careful about that. Personally, like if I was running advertising and somebody reached out to me like that, what I'd rather see is, hey, I noticed this, intro what you do, but this is why I caught this, because you're kind of like putting in some proof there too. Like, this is, what I do. My company does this for, XYZ big names. And so you're proof building there, and then you give the tip as to how you can correct it. Think of it like a lead magnet, right? The whole point of a lead magnet is getting somebody like one win, so that it's like free drugs the first time, right? You want to get them hooked on you. So when you're doing a critique something that they can change, that if they like the idea, they can change it quickly and experience a win from it. Because if you deliver them a win on a silver plate, they're not going to stop talking to you.
Yeah, that's really helpful. I'm writing some of this down. I'm just trying to think of like what a win would be, but I could probably think of that on my own, since it's obviously the company I work for.
So based on what you were saying, right, you were saying that there are keywords that they don't need to be listed for or whatever. If they take those keywords away, will they save money without
Absolutely.
experiencing any dip in results?
They'll see an improvement because they're spending less on the irrelevant keywords. Therefore, they're spending more on the ones that matter to them.
Okay.
And
how quickly will they see that?
It's hard to see an impact on it directly, depending on how big of it or how impactful that keyword is. But like, it's not a huge win in a silver platter, but it's an obvious win.
Yeah,
so like,
and that's fine. It doesn't have to be like a huge game changing, here's an extra $1 million per year. But any win demonstrates that you know what you're talking about.
Right. And I just thought of another win I could do. Instead of showing them irrelevant searches that they are showing up for, maybe research keywords that they aren't showing up for but should be, because it's super relevant to their business.
Yep.
But I just thought of that one. So understand that they don't know / trust me, and don't come off as condescending. So that's really good advice for the first email. Is there any like specific tricks I could do to come off in the opposite way? Like, obviously the fact that I'm offering them something valuable will be, I hope, friendly.
So it's not a trick. It's a principle of just do not go into this outreach with the expectation of them working with you. Your job is to serve them, right? Your job is to deliver something to them that improves their business. And if they see the value in that, then the conversation to work with you is natural.
Good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would present it almost like not almost, just as, hey, I saw this opportunity to improve your ad spend campaign. Here's the tweak. Here's the impact I think it'll have. And then again, segue into exactly what you do and who you are.
Do you think, so that's another thing I wanted to ask you guys about. Do you think it's too much to like talk about the offer in the first email, or should I wait for them to, like, what if I only sent them an email with the advice and there's nothing else about me or my company? It's just like a random email from a guy that says, oh, here's like a really cool way you can improve your ads, and try to like, I feel like that might bait a reply more than if they knew I was trying to sell them something.
Well,
like,
I mean, the only thing you're going to run into there, I think, is if there's no call to action, and I read that, I might just say, "Oh, cool," and then move on.
Hmm.
So there at least has to be some sort of call to action at the end of the email, to
Like a
encourage.
question or something. I just want to
Find
reply.
out what type of response you're looking for, and then gear the messaging towards that.
Okay, so you're thinking too deep about this, right? Because like honesty is the best policy, and being upfront in your copy is what will do wonders here. If you clearly state in your email that, look, I want to work with you, and I want to prove that I know what I'm talking about, and that my company knows what we're talking about, and that we can do this, and we do this for X, Y, and Z. And because I believe in this so much and I really want to help you, I'm going to give you this one thing, like this win right here. When you see the results from this, you know, like come work with me. Like not that, but be upfront and be honest, because people will respect that you're not trying to bullshit them.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I was thinking about call to actions and like and if I honestly didn't think that I would pitch them on the agency or hiring us in the first email. So I was thinking, do you think it would be another call to action? So as context first, since they might already be working with another agency, one of the things my email needs to do is instill doubt in the competence of the current agency, or else they're not going to want to switch if they have an agency. So
No, I wouldn't do that. That's a bad road to follow, because these are people that they're actively paying their money to. And if you try and like sidestep that, and like they obviously have a relationship with them, sure, a percentage of people that you reach out to will dislike the agency, and that they're just like, you know, they're the only one that they found so far or whatever, and they're just waiting for the next one. But most people will not be waiting for you to come around and be their, you know, their savior. Like
Yeah.
most of these people have a relationship with these companies that they're working with. So you attacking them, even if it's like trying to just create doubt, is not gonna fly well. You have to come in almost complimentary. So let me give you an example from the printing world, right? When I owned my printing shop out in Chicago, there was another printing shop that was just a few miles away, and they were monstrous. They were huge, like multi-million-dollar per year printing shop that actually does all the printing now for Ulta Beauty, the Ulta Beauty stores across the country. You know how they got that account? Well, they didn't get that account by going in and saying like, "Oh, your printers suck, use us." They went in and said, "What is the one job, the one print job that you have that none of your vendors want to do? We'll do it. We just want to get in with you. We want to get work from you, and we want to work with you." So they got in by just saying like, "What's the one print job that no one else wants to do, and we'll do it for you." And then they proved themselves, they built the relationship, and they took over every single piece of printed marketing and print that Ulta Beauty does nationwide.
it's interesting that you said you don't want to say like, oh, your current printing sucks, because I literally wrote this as like I don't know how I was going to use this, but I wrote a whole piece on how to tell if your Google Ads agency sucks.
So in this context,
This
it's
was the
fine.
instilling doubt, but I was going to like link it to them in the email.
Don't link it to them in the email. But this is fine for open out in the wild sort of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Because people are going to it. It's
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
education content. That's good to have out there. You want
Yeah.
that.
right.
But you definitely don't want to say that in the email.
I
Yeah.
was kind of thinking about that.
No. Well, piggybacking on what Jared's saying, it's just like in principle, you don't want to make the customer feel like they've made awful decisions. You want them to associate positive emotions with your email, not negative emotions like anxiety and regret in choosing their current vendor. So if you
Right.
present it as, hey, I see this opportunity to improve. I'm giving you value on a silver platter. You can implement this immediate and it's easy. By the way, we've also helped companies like X, Y, and Z improve on their campaigns. Do you work with an agency already? just some kind of conversation starter at the end. And maybe that's yes and no. Use an open-ended question. How do you guys handle ad spend today?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to go into it knowing they already have another agency, though.
Great.
I don't have to reach out to people, but like, I wonder how realistic it is for them to switch agencies. Because like in the past, one thing in our industry, I don't know if this is normal, but most people aren't happy with their agencies. There's a lot of like subpar agencies that just, they're bad.
Yes,
And
people
like that's
will switch. People will switch agencies because most agencies, well, quite frankly, do suck. I mean, that's just the fact of the matter. But you just can't say that because then you're telling the customer that they made a bad decision, and that's like a terrible way to start a relationship or to try
you're
and
totally
start a
right.
relationship.
Just walk up to a girl, be like, dude, your boyfriend's a piece of trash.
Yeah.
You should be dating me.
instead. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that you have this idea that you need to instill some sort of doubt, but by handing them a win, by handing them something that will improve their business, they will naturally think like, okay, why didn't my agency know that? Why didn't my agency tell me to do that? Or why didn't they do that for me? So you don't have to say anything. There's no trickery to get them to doubt their agency. They probably already doubt it, and you're just proving it by delivering them a win, like an easy one at that.
Yeah. I guess you're right that they'll doubt them, especially if I can just like put a screenshot of like their ads showing up for completely garbage search term, they'd be mad at their agency. They're like, wait, I gotta get on the call with my agency. Why the frick are they bidding on these keywords? So yeah, I guess you're right about the doubt there. I don't really need to do it. It kind of does it itself.
Yeah. So I want to be mindful that we're almost halfway through. Thomas, do you feel like there's more that
really
needs to
helpful.
be covered?
I mean, I'm gonna have to write some copy for it on my own, but I definitely want to make sure other people have things they want to talk about. So thank you guys.
Cool. You're the man, dude. Gabriel, how's it going, man?